When it comes to jewelry making, torches are kind of a must, but not everyone is comfortable using one or has a setup to use one. But there are other ways to fuse metals together that can be safer, cleaner, and even faster. That being said, this will not replace a torch completely, but it definitely opens up a lot of options for you, and if you're already using a torch, it opens up a lot of possibilities as well. And the tool I'm talking about is the Helix Permanent Jewelry Welder. It's basically a handheld spot welder. There have been some new accessories, and I feel like the entire product has been kind of finalized now, so I wanted to go back over it with some new ideas and showing off the accessories. And one of these accessories is an auto-darkening screen. It's a pretty simple setup for the most part, and it seems to be packed well. It also has a magnifying glass attachment that helps you see a little bit better. When it comes to welding, you can easily damage your eyes or anyone else that happens to be looking. This will block the area, and once the welder is going to actually weld, it will turn the screen on, making it completely black and protecting your eyes. When it comes to the magnifying glass, it attaches with magnets, so you can easily move it around and take it off with no tools. Underneath the screen, there's built-in LEDs, so you can see what you're doing without providing your own light. This is all controlled and powered over this Ethernet cable that plugs into the main unit. And speaking of the main unit, and just about everything else are in these boxes. And to save some time so this video doesn't drag on, I'm going to remove everything and go over things as I think they're important or as they come up. Unlike a lot of things, the manual for this is actually useful. It goes over what all the controls do and how to plug everything in, along with how to set up the handpiece with the proper spacing, which is really important. And I'm going to make sure to go over that in detail in this video as well. This does come with a set of dark glasses to protect your eyes, which are pretty much a must, especially if you don't have the darkening screen. Holding it up to the camera, you can kind of see what it would look like looking through these. It pretty much darkens everything and makes everything green, but it also keeps your eyes safe. It does come with two basic grounding clips that you have to clip to whatever you're working on, and they do have other options that are sold separately that would come in really handy for different types of projects. These plug directly into the back of the machine itself, and they can be stacked on top of one another so you can have multiple plugged in at once. You might have noticed that there's also a gas line fitting on the back of this, and it came with some tube to plug into it. Either side of the hose will plug directly into this and lock in place, and if you need to remove it, you push down on the ring around it and pull it out. As for the other side of the hose and the gas we're going to be using, it's going to be argon, which is a non-flammable, non-toxic gas that is used for welding. That being said, you don't have to use it, but it is highly suggested. Depending on what kit you order, it will come with a regulator for this tank. The tank itself doesn't come with any of the kits and has to be bought separately. You could probably save a bit of money, especially on shipping, if you get one locally at a welding store. And that's also where you're going to get it refilled in the future. Setting this up is pretty straightforward. Just put the tip of this into the canister and start screwing in the hex part. It's best to go slow with this and do it by hand. It should go in pretty easily, just to make sure that you're not cross-threading anything and you won't have any leaks. And like I said before, this is completely optional. Argon is known as an inert gas, and all that really means is it's non-reactive, unlike water and oxygen, which is found in the air. And this basically just makes a little shield around where you're welding, and this will result in better welds and more consistent welds. But once you have everything hand tight, you can tighten this up with a wrench, and you plug in the other end of that hose right here. And just like before, push it in until it stops, and then pull on a little bit to make sure it doesn't slide out. But if you do need to take it out for some reason, all you have to do is push on this piece and pull the tube out. But with all that done, we can finally open up the canister itself, and as I'm doing this, you can see that one of the gauges start moving. And this is telling you the pressure of the canister. And this other gauge is how much pressure you're letting out through the regulator. And you're going to be controlling all of this with this knob here, which should be very loose like this when it's completely closed. So you're going to want to start turning this in the plus direction, and you just want to set this to around 7 liters per minute. And with that all done, this is ready to use. And seeing that I have the auto darkening screen, I do need to plug that in back here as well. And with that done, I have everything plugged in, and we can take a quick look at the standard handpiece holder, which does exactly what it's named. It holds your handpiece. That way you can free up your hands so you can hold your work. But seeing that I have the auto darkening screen, it also does the same job as this holder. And you'll notice that I'll swap back and forth between both of these depending on what I'm doing. Now I need to get the electrode set up in the handpiece. This does come with a few of them, and as you can see, they're pretty sharp, so be careful when dealing with them. To get into the handpiece itself, I need to pull off the front of it and unscrew the brass collet. Once it's open enough, I can put the electrode into it with a decent amount of it sticking out. And then just to kind of hold it in place, I'm going to tighten up the collet, but not too tight. And with that done, I can put the tip back onto this, and you can see that it's not even sticking out. So I need to pull this out a little bit more beforehand, which is totally fine, and I can adjust it after the fact. According to the instructions, it needs to stick out about 3 to 6 millimeters. So to be safe, I'm going to set my calipers to 4 millimeters and use the back end of it to push this into place. Once I have that to my liking, I can pull off the tip of this again and tighten up the collet. There's a power switch on the back of the main Helix unit. Once you turn this on, you'll see everything start to illuminate, and if you have the auto darkening screen plugged in, it will also turn on its LEDs. And since I didn't show it off before, here's a better look at what it looks like with and without the magnifying glass on it. This is definitely a big difference in person. I can see how it can help, but it doesn't really come across too well on camera. Even though the main unit is turned on, it's not ready to go yet. You still have to adjust your power setting and actually turn it on from the front panel. After turning it on, you'll hear it beep after a few seconds and see a ready light. With that all ready to go, we just need to connect one of these grounding clips to whatever you're going to be welding on. Using the grounding clip as basically a handle, I can hold it right where I need the weld to be and touch it to the electrode. You will have to dial in your power settings depending on the metal you're using and the thickness, and thicker pieces are going to require more welds. This screen is on a pivoting system, so if you did need to move it completely out of the way, you can, depending on what you're working on. Just make sure you put on the green safety glasses if you do it this way. After doing some welding, you do need to clean it up a bit, and this kit does come with some cleaning supplies. Most of the time I just use the fiberglass scratching brush, and it'll clean up pretty good. Depending on how well you dialed in your settings, your welding marks can be pretty clean and cleaned up really easily. And this does work a lot cleaner on smaller jump rings. And you can use this to attach a charm to a chain without having to do any type of soldering. You can also do the same thing to the chain itself and attach it to someone permanently. And if you're doing this on someone's skin, make sure that you have a piece of leather to protect them from the spark and the heat. But after that one quick weld is pretty much done, just a quick cleanup and remove any excess chain. Another helpful use case is attaching bales to necklaces without any type of soldering. All you have to do is weld this one spot, do a very tiny bit of cleanup, and you're ready to go. This comes in really handy, especially if you have something in your necklace that can't get too hot and you don't have the bale attached already. Speaking of the bale, and if you want to make them perfect every time, I do sell some templates in my shop. Other uses for the setup is being able to tack weld things at any moment. That way you can quickly attach things together. You can do this in a way that you're going to go back and solder them, or you could do it in a way that it would be a finished piece, like putting this post on an earring. You can also make your own custom chain using this with some pretty thin metals or some thicker ones. As you use this to weld things, the electrode will get worn down and dull, and it works best when it's sharp, so you can either buy replacements or you can sharpen it. And there is an accessory that will sharpen them and makes them last way longer, seeing that you can use them until they're no longer long enough to fit in the handpiece anymore. You can get a battery pack for this and set up at events that don't have power options, and be able to do custom work right on the spot. But just make sure that you also have the auto-darkening screen if you're going to be around a bunch of people. But if you're not going anywhere or getting that screen, you can always get this magnification setup. That way you can see things a bit better when you're working in your workspace. And I think I've gone over just about everything, so let's go over the last bit, which is the price and the different kit options. And unfortunately, the upfront cost is kind of high. As of recording this, the basic kit is $1,499. And if black isn't your color, there is a limited edition pink one if you wanted to pay a bit more. The next kit option is the starter kit, which comes with some extra tools and some chain, along with the argon gas regulator. And the final kit comes with just about everything in the starter kit, plus the auto-darkening screen. But it's also going to cost you a pretty penny at $2,000. And like I said, definitely not a cheap tool, but if you can utilize it in the proper way, you can make a lot of money with this. By either selling your services by using it for making permanent jewelry, or using it in your jewelry work and design to speed things up. But those are just my thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments what you think and what you would use it for. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.